In YouTube videos, stories, and movies, you should never spoil the ending. Everyone knows that. But you know who says, "Hey, hold my beer"? Freaking Christopher Nolan. With the very first line, he taunts you. Are you watching closely?
Are you watching closely?
You freaking madman! It's all right there, and you spoiled the story for me in less than 5 minutes, and I had no idea that you were doing it. Now that's a director. If you want to become a beast filmmaker, you have to be a storyteller of storytellers. Christopher Nolan is one of those storytellers. Now remember, this isn't the only way to create a dope opening sequence, and neither do I suggest that you use this every single time, but it is a good weapon to keep in your pocket, you know what I'm saying? The Prestige is incredible, bro. Now if you haven't seen it, go and watch it, quit being a chump bag, and go do it, because I'm about to spoil the mess out of this movie, along with a whole bunch of other movies. The whole movie is about the rivalry between two magicians. They got crazy names, so to help you remember, you got Batman and Wolverine. And you know what they say, you drown one wife and now you got a battle on your hands. No one says that, is it? Right. Now they both start their magician careers, and independently they create their own trick called the Transported Man. Then they duke it out to expose each other's trick. So you figure out Wolverine has been using this machine to clone himself every time he does a trick, killing himself in the process while his clone lives on. Then you figure out that Batman cloned himself once with the same machine, and that's how he accomplishes his trick. Side note, Batman's clone stays disguised as his assistant anytime they're outside of a magic show. Wolverine then frames Batman at one of his shows for killing one of Wolverine's clones. Batman is executed for the murder, and then, plot twist, Batman's clone comes out of nowhere and kills Wolverine, and Batman lives happily ever after with his daughter who likes birds and ish. Now we can actually talk about it. In my opinion, you have 3 ways of telling a story. Linearly. This means it is straightforward. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end. Think like your average YouTube videos. They start one place, gets to the middle, and then it ends. It's really basic, gets the point across. Framed. This is where you have a story within a story. Think of the live action movie of Aladdin, where Genie is actually telling the story of Aladdin, and you figure out that he was telling it to his kids the entire time. This is a lot more interesting than a linear story because you have to connect 2 stories somehow, some way. Fractured. You tell a story, but you are jumping forwards and backwards through time. They leave stuff out, they leave stuff in, and many times they keep things hidden from you. Now this is where Christopher Nolan takes the Prestige to a whole nother level. He jumps forwards and backwards through time with a simple cut, no blurry lines or twinkling sounds to go ahead and show you that you're going into a flashback or back in time. Just a simple cut. Now check this out, it is easy to just not show the audience something that you don't want them to see. Think of the movie Fast 5. They choose not to show you the vault switch midway through their little car scene. Why? So that it can have a better payoff in the end. But how big of a flex is it to not hide anything from your audience right in the first 3 minutes of your movie? Imagine showing the ending and your audience still wants to watch the entire story even though you just spoiled it for them in the first few minutes. I mean, think about it. Nolan opens the scene with the clones of the hats. He shows the machine in action. He shows Batman going backstage and seeing Wolverine get stuck in the water tank. He shows Batman's daughter happy and unharmed. You literally know how it ends before it even begins. After you watch the film the first time, you will literally go back and watch it and say, how could I have been so dumb? All of the hints and all of the clues were right in front of my face. He literally showed everything you needed to know and you were still fooled. Kind of like a magic trick. In the opening scene, the narration tells you about the building blocks of magic. The pledge, where the magician shows you something ordinary. The turn, the magician shows you something ordinary and turns it into something extraordinary. The prestige, the magician has to bring the ordinary back. So how can we apply this magical technique? Tough crowd. Number 1, you hide the visuals and you use audio only. In my video, the COVID-19 effect, I actually use this trope. If you want to check it out, you can click right up there. Spoiler alert, I open with the same exact audio from the beginning and I end with that very same audio. But the trick is I don't show you the visuals right at the beginning. You only get to see the visuals that is paired with the audio until the very end.
I guess I'm just talking to myself. And the cycle continues. I guess I'm just talking to myself. And the cycle continues.
Another example comes from the movie It, which is one of my favorites, by the way. There's this moment where this chick signs this kid's cast, but they don't show what she wrote. You just assume that she wrote her name. Fast forward a couple of scenes and the payoff is hilariously magnificent, dude. Because she wrote the word loser on his cast and this kid went back with a red marker and it is hilarious. All they did was hide the visuals so that you had a better payoff at the end. The next thing you do is you actually show the visuals, but you don't explain it. Take the opener of Inception and the opener of The Prestige, for example, both by Christopher Nolan. Inception is explaining exposition while you're watching the opener.
Okay, make sure you do. We're here to work.
Killing him would just wake him up. And judging by the decor, we're in your mind, aren't we, Arthur?
While The Prestige is intentionally leaving you in the dark.
You don't really want to know. Want to be fooled.
Another great example is the movie Inside Man. The opening scene starts with our thief somewhere we don't know, and then ends with that very same thief walking out. Don't give context, don't give clues, just show it. Next, you tell the story in a linear format, but at the very end, you throw in a completely different perspective that throws the entire movie for a crazy loop. The Book of Eli. You watch the entire story thinking he's just like everyone else, and you realize at the end that he's actually been blind the entire time. In all these examples, it makes you look back at the story in a completely different way, and this is the easiest way to do it because you just tell your story like normal, and then at the end, you just add a small twist. Easy, right? And finally, you can start the story the way that you ended it. Now, you don't have to end your story with the exact scene, nor does it have to have a twist. Now, even though a twist does make it better, it doesn't have to have one. You just need to end the story the same way that you started it. This is extremely common. The next time you watch a movie or a story, take notice of how many times they will end in the same way that they started. Wanted with Angelina Jolie. It starts off with this long, impressive sniper shot and it goes into this whole cool effect and it zooms all the way out and it's so clean and so well done. And the director wasn't even ashamed to change it slightly. He did it on purpose and did the exact same type of shot, just with a different character at the end. The best advice that I can give you is watch a lot of movies and steal what you like. Maybe that's why I have so many movie references in my videos, because I just love movies and I love stealing from them. It is a lot like this video. You thought it was just me talking away. But in YouTube videos, stories, and movies, you should never spoil the ending. Everyone knows that.
No one says that, is it?
Right.
So how can we apply?
But you know who says, "Hey, hold my beer, freaking Christopher Nolan."
Many times they keep things hidden from
With the very first line, he taunts you. Are you watching closely?
Are you watching closely?